What's happening?
Uh,
Look, I'm on my court at my house. I'm just chilling and look at you. You're in your car.
my internet was dead in the other building, so this is where I'm at. What are you
So,
doing, brother?
nothing, man. Just chilling. Just wanted to talk to my friend, man. Haven't
Yay!
We haven't chatted in a while.
I made friend status. I like that.
You're my brother, man. You're my brother. Yeah.
So what's
Hey,
going on?
welcome
How
back
the
to
boys?
Between the Fur. Good. Boys are good. Everybody's good. Garrett's doing some interesting stuff out there, even though we got a pandemic going on. He's still performing and all that, putting out good content. Yeah, Drake's crushing it at the gym, and yeah, Kate is setting me up on all this. So yeah, good stuff, man.
Cade's the tech. Cade's
The
techie.
tech.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. So props to him for always being.
No, I want to see. Come on, Cade. Put your face in front of the camera.
He
Everybody
just walked out. He just
who the
walked out.
brains are behind this whole setup here.
He just walked out.
Hey, Kenny,
Yeah,
this is being recorded, right?
right.
Okay. Let me go find the hub in the other building.
I'll just hang on while you walk. Can you do that?
Okay. So what's going on other than that?
Not much, man. Not much. Just trying
How's that lovely wife of yours doing?
to. She's great. She still likes me. Yeah. It's awesome. It's a miracle.
Does she still talk about me a lot?
She does not.
That was good to say. That sucks. Can't open she would. Apparently
Yeah.
nothing to be too fun to talk about. So
Well, are you at a Linko? I recognize those trees.
yep, that's where I'll be.
There you go, man.
So you can say hi to Terry. Say hi, Terry. Say everybody say hi. This is Ken. Say hi, everybody. You know what? I'm gonna go in the glue room because I don't think Abby wants to hear us sitting yakking the whole time.
Did
I
you
can
say
sit in the closet.
Did you say the
Yeah,
glue room?
The glue room. We could sit in the closet. Look, this is our closet, and it has the hub, and he's gonna close the door. I mean, I could just sit in here. Does that work?
There you go. Yeah, is that the glue room?
No, this is the. You can see all the computer product. This is the Cade room. This is where Cade was in.
Yes. That looks like his room.
Well, you know what? I'll show you the glue room. The glue room. The glue room is. You remember airplane glue when you'd smell it and you'd get high as a kid?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the glue room. See, look, I'm gonna flip you. Hold on.
That's what got me into mascotting.
Boom. See, this is our glue room. See all the glue.
Nice.
You like that?
And the feet and yep. Oh yeah, all kinds of glue there. That looks pretty organized, actually.
Okay, we'll sit in here and do this. Oh, I'm getting old, Ken.
Oh yeah, you are.
Okay, wait.
You
so
are.
You talking about Trevor's Legacy Foundation before you so rudely cut me off.
I did not cut you
You
off.
kicked me out. Yeah, no. You know the thing that I got to say though, Kenny, is as fun as that stuff is, and as humble as it is to be able that they want us to come and help them perform. I think the best part of it is the fact that you and everybody else committed to come from around the country to show up in Kadoka. You know what I mean? And Bird Island. Been out to Bird Island, and and you've come out to the Mascot Bowl out here in Utah. So I just, a lot of that stuff, Kenny, does not happen unless you guys have the heart and the will to come out and support it.
Well, I'll tell you, it's so fun though. I mean, that's the stuff that really makes this job a blast. I mean, that kind of charity stuff, and then getting together as buddies for a good cause. Gosh, it's so fun. In fact, that was a basketball game that lasted what, 3 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours.
That was Bird Island. Bird Island lasted forever.
Oh my gosh.
Kadoka was about the same.
Kadoka's was long. Yeah. Now we've done it a couple of years now, and I can't wait to get back up there. So, yeah, if you're listening, check out Trevor's Legacy Foundation. Roxanne started that, and it's for her son who passed away in a drunk driving accident. He was hit and passed away. And the story there is amazing, but she's helping other people through this foundation now. And you know what though? Hey, I want to talk to you. I want to tell some stories here real quick, but I want to ask you right up front. So when you first started, what was it like with people telling you? I mean, did anybody tell you, "Hey, you can't do this," or "That's stupid," or "What? You're a mascot? Come on, that's you know." Did they? What kind of grief did you get? Because I got some. I got some from inside my family and external. But what was that like at first?
It was funny. When I got the job, my dad, he was older and he was
But you were a mascot before you got the job with the Jazz.
right.
So,
But I
did
was
you
doing
catch
all
crap?
that while I was in school, because I was
Oh,
doing the
yeah.
minor league, I was doing CBA, and so. But when I got the job in Utah, I remember my dad called me and was like, John, because he's an old school farmer, and he's like, come home and just get a good construction job, and
Work in the coal mines.
he couldn't put his head around it. To him, you just work hard and that's all you need to do. And so it was funny when he said it, and I'm just really sad because he never did get to see me perform. He passed before he could get himself out here. So that sucks. But he got to watch. Hi, Terry. He got to watch videos and stuff of it. And who does? Okay, you're awesome. Thanks. Terry just said the internet over there works.
Oh,
so
too late there, Terry.
I know. Well, I looked up and he's staring at me, and I'm just like, "Hi, Terry," and he's just like, no. So I mean, that was kind of the first one, and then the other one, and I know you get it all the time, is when I started, everybody would be like, "So what else do you do?" And I'd be like, "No, this is it," and they're like, "No, like it's not full time," and I'm like, "No, it's full time," and then. Every skit that I did, everybody was like when you said, like that's stupid or that isn't going to work or, so, but that lasted my whole career. Everybody said half of the stuff I did was stupid. So, my stupidest one though, my stupidest one. So, and I don't even know if it was stupid. I still think I could have pulled it off, cause so you knew I was in the military and, I had gathered a couple incendiary round parachutes. They're the parachutes that hold the, like it pops and it lights up a whole area in the battlefield, right?
Oh yeah.
And or it was an illumination round, not an incinerator round, but it was an illumination round. And
it just it just bursts into flames, and then it floats down. Okay.
I've been up since 5. But so I had 2 of these parachutes, and I thought it would be fun if I held the parachutes up, we could jump out of the rafters and I could parachute to the floor. And we loaded a duffel bag to about 150 pounds and tucked it off of the thing, and it opened up and it went down and it drifted just a hair and then boom, hit kind of hard, and I was like, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'll break anything, So we did it a couple times, and then I called management down and we all watched it, and it was hilarious to see their face like, no. That was like one of the most sincere no's. It is not going to happen I've ever heard. Like, no, you're not jumping out of the damn ceiling on parachutes. So that's right.
Hey, I got to tell you one that I actually was able to pull off, and this was back at another arena that is not around anymore, McNichols Arena. But I had this idea. Instead of rappelling in, what if I swung in and then rappelled? And so I had broken my back the year before this.
I remember that.
And I thought, you know what? I could do this. I could do this. And I hadn't even thought about the fact that I broke my back just, months before this. And so the idea was to run up during the skit. I was going to do the Indiana Jones, music and everything, and run up and get chased and everything. And then I grab onto this rope, look like it, and just swing out and drop to the floor. Well, I could not practice this thing and get it down. So I tried all these different gloves because I was just putting my hand in a loop when I got up to the rope up to the second level, put my hand in the loop, and then jump off the upper deck and swing down. Now, the other thing is, okay, what do you do with the rope? So I figured I'd just have it go whipping down the aisle,
Yep.
which is just stupid thinking right now. Because what if somebody stepped on it, or what if Anyways, so my plan was to have everybody cleared out and do this thing. Well, um, but I practiced and practiced and practiced it using different gloves. I I, I couldn't. It was such a force swinging down and then to the
Yep.
floor that sometimes I had too slippery of a glove, and I'd just be like slip. And by the time I got to the floor, I was like on my knees, And then I had other ones that were too grippy that I would jump off and swing, and then I couldn't slide down the rope. It was just. Anyways, that one time though, when I couldn't, when I got this really grippy glove, one time I swing out, I can't slide down, and all of a sudden I'm swinging back at the stairs. And I'm like, oh crap, my back. That was the first time I thought about my back at that point. Wham! Right into the cement steps again.
Oh,
I'm laying there. Okay, is anything broken? Luckily, nothing. And I wasn't wearing any pads. Why would
yeah.
Why would I wear pads or a helmet? Geez, I'm
Or-
just practicing.
It was completely safe, and OSHA said it was okay.
Right.
They loved it.
This is way, way, way before OSHA, and this is back when the city owned the arena, and so there was no real worry about insurance or anything like that. Hey, city will get sued. We're fine. So I got this down. I figured it out. I went to my management, and this is the one time I got to say, it totally surprised me. I walk in there, I'm like, hey, to our risk and management guy, our lawyer guy, and everything. He kind of handled it all. I said, hey, Gary, can you come take a look at this stunt I want to do tomorrow night? He walks out, and I'm like, now the idea is this, and I'm thinking, oh man, I'm going to get all kinds of pushback here and everything. And now we'll clear the aisles, and I got this all thought through. And sure enough, I swing out there, swing way up, and I rappel, I land on the court. And he's like, looks good to me. And walked off. I was like, wait, was that a yes? That was a yes, right? That was a yes, right? I got a yes. He's like, yeah, looks good. That would never happen. Never happen nowadays at all. I mean,
no.
Oh gosh, it'd be, all kinds of risk and safety stuff. And the next night pulled it off. It was great. Nobody even stepped out on my rope or anything, but that rope went whipping down the aisle.
Have you ever thought about how many things that we did? Well, and a lot of it is just because when we started, mascotting was so new, and they really didn't know what was safe, what was dangerous. I mean, we had no rules really, because we were writing them as we were going.
Uh-huh.
I mean, and I just talked to Scotty Hessington about that. We were talking about the rules in the book, and how many rules were because of us. And I was like, I think, Scotty had one, I think Barry had two, everybody had something that they did. And then the NBA was like, okay, we can't do that anymore,
Yeah.
But I was fortunate. I don't know if I ever had any. So
no more backflipping off the score table. I pushed that one as long as I could.
I remember that. But I just think it's interesting when you look back at where we started, and, and like you said, how people were like, oh, is that really a job? Because it was so new. Nobody knew about it. Like during our tryouts, like mine, I think we had 15 applicants, and 8 of them showed up. And nowadays you're getting, a ton of applicants, and everybody wants to be a mascot. Yeah. But, we started when it was brand new, and we're at the pinnacle, and now it's kind of on a downswing. And I mean, everybody still wants a mascot, but it's still kind of that, dream for some guys, this fantasy land. But at the same time, I feel that the NBA, the NFL, all these sports teams it's on that downswing for the teams and how they look at us as an asset.
Yeah. Well, and you know what, when we first started, back to that, when we first started, or at least when I first started back in high school, I mean, it was, hey, dude, come on. That's not cool. Wait, you're going to be the mascot. In fact, my brother was like, dude, don't embarrass me, man. Come on. Jeez, I went to that school. I still know people there. Okay. People know me. Don't embarrass me. And I was actually pretty good, but man, there was times, and I got thinking about this the other day. We have so many people that have their dreams shot
Yep.
because, you know, because of somebody says or whatever. My wife had and I had this conversation this morning about how we were in high school and how we were, growing up and maturing and things like that. And gosh, if I would have listened to half of the negative that I got, I mean, I had people at all stages, high school, college, university. I had, I, even into, 10 years into my career here, I had people going, you suck. I mean, right in my face, what was that? You suck, man. The gorilla is the best, or the bear's the best, and, I remember so many games getting all these compliments. And then but it was the one that was, just devastating to me, that in your face, sit down, you suck. I was like, man, gosh, it would just stick with me for days. But yeah, those kind of things, man, we had to overcome it. And it was not cool at first. I'm just saying it was not
No,
cool. Yeah, especially in high school and
yeah,
in
no,
college. But
because there's just that what's the word I'm digging for? That
stigma.
stigma. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yes. It's
Just that
like
stigma about it, and
it's like being a
um,
mime. It's like being a
yeah,
like being a mime.
it is. I mean,
No one likes a mime.
that's why I always wanted to be called an entertainer instead of a mascot. Because the second you say entertainer, it gives you a little bit more status and credibility. The second you say mascot, you're the kid that can't play sports.
Yeah, yeah. Yes. And it's oh, you put on that little costume and
Yeah,
you do the little flips and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. No,
I like how they say little before everything. Oh yeah, you're the guy that does all the little flips out there.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, really, okay, here's the suit. Give it a shot.
Right.
What's funny though is because, like, when I was growing up, I had 5 friends. Ever since first grade, we still all hang out and stuff. And I remember, I don't know how many times
You're like
I'd
the
be,
impractical jokers.
yeah. Well, no, yeah, sort of. I mean, we just grew up and we're still friends. And I remember sitting in the van, putting my costume on, and I bet you I did it 100 times. I just kind of reflect because I'd look at myself putting on fur. I'm 50 years old, and I'm thinking, going, let me see. Danny's an attorney, Ronnie's a doctor, Corey's a millionaire, and I'm just going and I'm like, what the hell, what bad life choices did I make that I'm this old and I'm putting on fur for a living? I just,
Yeah, it still runs through my head every once in a while. Yep. Geez, I'm 54 and I'm still playing dress up for a living.
I've been trying to catch you on age bracket, but you keep winning somehow. You're still always a year ahead of me.
That's right, man. I gotta just keep that one step ahead of you.
So you
So
look older than me, just so you know. I'm just
true,
saying.
true,
I'm joking.
true.
You're like Peter Pan. I hate to say it.
I like Peter Pan. Yeah. Well,
So okay.
so
So what was trying to think when we performed, like, did you like performing by yourself more, or when we would all get together for events?
good question. So I hated it at first.
Yep.
I really did, because I felt like not only did I have to keep up and outperform and compete and all that stuff with everybody else, um, but I always felt like I was that was
Use your
a
words, and use your words.
that was a futile effort,
That's a big word,
seriously.
right?
Yeah, look at me go. I always thought that was useless, and I wasn't going to get anywhere and whatever. And then I quickly realized after one or two times of all being together that I didn't have to compete with, I didn't have to look at anybody else and what they're doing. I found myself watching people sometimes, watching other mascots, and that was okay. And then I
Yep.
realized that I could have fun and do my own thing, and I could hold my own. And I didn't have to be self-conscious about anything I was doing. I just had to be me. But that's what about you?
I did. No, you know what? I think when you look back at it, I felt the same way, but I think it was because we were all learning. I mean, it was brand new to all of us that we would get together, do a birthday party. And what I hated is we all seemed to kind of work around each other. And just like you, I had my bits that I would do in the crowd, and all of a sudden somebody would come over and mess it up, or somebody would come and do this. And I was like, come on. But then it took a little bit, but then we figured out that it's like, okay, if I'm here, or if I was with you and we were working like the Memphis Grizzlies game, if I looked and you were here, I'm going to go down 5 rows and work over there. So I think it just took a little bit of time for us to work and figure out how to do it as a group. And then what I loved about it is we're such a solo performance. You know, we go out and crush it with a skid, a dunk, a stunt, whatever it is. Then we go in the back and we're like, yeah, that was great. But it's just us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like you go out in a basketball team or a football team and you make a great run, you go in and you get to have the camaraderie with the team. And we really don't have the team. It's just us. And that's what I think is fun, is when we would go out and do a skit or a mascot
dunk
Olympics,
contest or
coming back in the room and being able to just talk about it with everybody was so fun.
Yeah.
So that's what I love. Plus, I just loved seeing everybody and going out afterwards and hanging out, and, doing stuff like that, and trying to keep Bowden off the strip clubs. You can edit that one out. Just edit that out, please.
No, that's staying in. So I have to tell you another one, but I'll tell you one when we all get together. This one, Barry, I love you, man. I love you. I love you. I love you. So don't take this wrong. But I used to hate going to birthday parties with Barry. Signing autographs was the worst with him because it was bang on the table and bang on the table some more. And you're trying to sign somebody's picture and it's like, ga, 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 ga. And my pen's skipping all over the place. Then he's over the table and he's throwing the table. And I'm like, man, I swear, I'm gonna bring a shot next time. I'm just gonna go just calm that guy down right now before the game starts. But
Well, no, and I think that was part of it too. That was that learning curve because he was coming out of college, and they were a little bit more physical with each other because that's technically, I mean, and I don't know if you do it, but a lot of times if I had to do something with college mascots, I avoided them at the event because they didn't understand. Their only idea of being funny was, I'm going to hurt somebody.
Right.
And I'm just saying, Barry, I love you too. But just, he came in, and for those first couple of years, oh man,
he was still in that mode.
He almost knocked me out. Somebody had to grab him and pull him off because he had those inflatable pins with the sand weight in the bottom.
Oh yeah.
And he was swinging it like a sledgehammer on me. And I remember, bam, my head got hit and everything was shaky. And I'm like, what just happened? I thought somebody jumped on my head. And all of a sudden, bam, I get hit again. And I seriously just lay there like, I'm going to go out. And he was going for the third one, and somebody tackled him and pulled him off. And then there was another time I was up on top of the table. Everybody was leaving, and my spidey sense kicked in. And I remember I was standing on top of the 8-foot table, and I look over my shoulder, and I see Barry looking up at me with that look like, you're dead. And he shoves the table. And thankfully, I was able to shift my weight. I had a foot in the front and a foot in the back. Otherwise, I'd have flipped off.
Oh, yeah.
And then I remember, I got another one. Then I remember, I don't remember where we were, but Barry found some crutches in the front row, and Rob Wycall comes walking over, and Barry, it's so funny because you can see what he was thinking. I saw the whole thing. I'm watching him, and I saw him look at his crutch like this, and he looked at the coyote and just went, bam, put the end of the crutch right there in his chest, and Rob falls to his knees. I was like, holy hell, you're gonna kill somebody.
And Rob,
where everybody would get mad at him and say, dude, stop.
Right. And if you know, the coyote has no padding.
None.
That guy's just wearing a little bit of fur over his body. That's it. I mean, it's like he's got pajamas on. So yeah. So
little train.
Yeah.
I don't know. it's interesting when you look back at our careers and what we've done and the things that we got to do, like going overseas and performing, just all the CBA games that we got to go to. I remember, way back in the day when Paul Linney and David Pendergrass, Adam Hardy, remember those guys?
Oh yeah.
We started the Zoo Crew, and we would go around and
Oh
do
yeah.
CBA games, and we went as a foursome, and each guy would take a quarter, and then we'd all work halftime. It was awesome. And
That's
then
great.
the CBA left, and then entertainment dollars ran out, and nobody brought us in it.
I remember one time I got flown out to a CBA game that Roy Jones Jr. owned. The boxer.
Yeah, the boxer. Yep.
Yeah, he owned a CBA team, and I can't remember.
Who was that?
I don't know. It was in
Was it Omaha?
No. Guy, I can't remember. Some little town though. I was picked up. I was picked up in a 2-seater plane.
What?
Yes, and I was bringing in my assistant and my trampoline. So not only did I have all my costume, I brought my stilts, I brought my trampoline. We packed it all in the back of this plane. My assistant, who was bigger than I was, and the pilot were up in the front, and I was literally in the back, squeezed up against the door of this little tiny plane while they flew out to this little town in the middle of nowhere. And I did the CBA game, and I remember Roy Jones Jr. I brought my boxing gloves, and I go out there at one point, and Roy Jones Jr. took a shot at me. Wham!
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I've been hit by some of the best.
Yes, you have. I still remember training with you in Denver. You had you were friends with that other boxer, pro boxer.
Yeah. DeVeril Williams.
Yeah.
Williamson. Yeah.
And I remember we went over and you were like, hey, we're gonna box and train with him. And I mean, that was the coolest thing ever. I mean, here you are, it's like we're mascots, but yet, we know these super athletes. And but I remember we put the boxing gloves on, and I had to run outside, and I was gnawing at my gloves because I got claustrophobic. I couldn't have something on my hands.
Well, yeah. And
so, do you remember that?
Yeah.
They gave me the ones, and they shoved the laces in so I could throw my gloves if I got panicky.
Yeah, and it was and it didn't help that it was like 900 degrees in that gym too. So it was awful.
Yeah, it was hot. It was really hot, but that was a lot of fun. Somebody in the league that really befriended a ton of celebrities and players and stuff was Scotty Hessington.
Oh yeah,
I couldn't believe how many celebrities and athletes he knew. Yeah, to this day still does.
Oh, I know. He's got such the hookups. I'm always like, I don't want to go talk to those guys. I don't want to be the, but man, he'd just go make friends with them. And there are guys that I've traveled with and everything. I still, Kenny Smith, I've traveled with him, Scotty Brooks, Terry Porter. Whenever I see these guys, Gary Payton. I love those.
Oh my God, there's a name from the past.
Yeah. So, Chauncey Billups. I was talking to him the other day. But we get to know all these guys, and they actually talk to us, even though we're mascots, even though we play dress up for a living. So,
though, I think sometimes they understand it more than the management does. You know what I mean? They understand that, look, we're out there doing our job just like you guys are. You guys are playing a kid's sport when you really think about it.
It's entertainment.
Kids play it is. And they understand it just as much. It's like we're playing a sport, granted, at a higher level, and we're performing, and we're technically trying to help you win. We're the sixth man, people.
Yep.
And, it's because there's something fun when you go out there and you have a great game. The crowd is listening. And I was told once by one of my GMs, he walked in, Randy Rigby, and we had come back and we won that game. but I was just having a really just solid game and performance. And he came back and he actually thanked me and said that that I had something to do with that win. And when you hear that, you're just like, you're just beaming. You're just like, man, this is awesome. So
Well,
I think that they understood more than anybody that we were an asset and valuable to them.
yeah. Well, I'll tell you, one time I was told that. I was about 3 years into the league, and we were heading into the playoffs, and the president of the company, Tim Lewicki back then, love that guy. We were walking down the hall and met up and whatever, and this is before the game, and he puts his arm around me and he says, "Hey, you know what?" He goes, "I figure, in all seriousness, this is what he said. I figure you're worth 6 to 8 points to us tonight. So give him heck." I was like, oh, at first I was like that. Yeah. All right. Yep.
And then you go,
and then I was like, wait a minute.
Renegotiate my contract.
Exactly. Can we talk money now? Because guy on the end of the bench, he's not going to make 6 to 8 points tonight. No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it's funny and I think, and everything is cyclical. I think mascotting will come back eventually, like it was for us, because we hit it at the just perfect time. And I just think that, we had management back then that understood it. They realized it was entertainment. They realized we were an asset. And then for some reason, I just had heard from so many other mascots, it's a management change. And it's guys that are, these management that are kind of like jock sniffers, it's all about the game and it's about the players and you're just a mascot and it's such crap. And, but I think it'll come back when people realize that, how stale some of the game entertainment is right now.
Yeah. Yeah. But we're having to shift on the fly now because of this whole stay at home stuff and everything, and don't touch and don't, can't come in contact with people and all that stuff. So it's going to be interesting how we're going to have to shift, and the new guys coming, it's never going to be the same. It's never going to be the same. I don't feel anyways, but at the same time, I think you're right. It is going to shift back to where people, management realize what an impact and how valuable mascots are. I think right now they kind of take it for granted a little bit in a lot of cases. And, I got to tell you, my team has fortunately not taken, that big a swing on things, and they still have, they still recognize for the most part the role that mascots play. This mascot plays, anyways. But yeah. So, all right. So give me one that I would not know. Give me a story that I would not know. Gosh, you got a ton of them. Give me a story that is little told, little heard from you. Come on.
Well, you know what?
Little known fact.
A fact. Well, back in the day when I was performing, I really liked Andy Kaufman. And I mean, this really isn't a story. It's just kind of, and what I did is I tried to, and I know that everybody else does, I tried to really make it my skits look as legit as possible. So I would tell as few people as possible, and there were a number of times where my first one I ever did, I just told 2 security guards, and I had my buddy sitting in the crowd holding up a Jazz Suck sign, and he was in Dallas gear, and he went running out on the floor. It was one of the first times, and he was running on the floor. And when I told the security guards what they were doing, I said, I'll give you each $20 if you catch them. And I told Ryan Archibald, I said, I'll give you $20 if you can stay away from them. So they're running, and security, everybody, you can tell everybody's like, what the hell do we do? But these 2 guys were chasing them, and I ran out and tackled them and, ripped up the sign. The crowd went crazy. Then there was the one that I did with Scotty Hetsington where he came out on the floor. But with all of those Crying Wolf skits, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was going up, I was walking on the handrail, and I saw somebody run down the right side of me. And I was like, that's weird, because I'm kind of close to the floor. And I thought, how are they going to make that turn? Why are they running so fast? So I jumped down and I look, and sure as hell, this guy goes all the way across the floor over to our home team huddle and gets in the huddle. And I remember I looked at Ron Jensen, our security guy, and he's looking at me like, is this you? And I'm like, no. And I look over at Roy, I'm like, no, this isn't me. And nobody did anything because they thought it was a skit. And then Jerry Sloan, big Jerry, goes walking over and he grabs this guy. And that's when security and police were like, oh, hell, this isn't a bear skit. And they jumped him. But Jerry Sloan was the first one to grab him. And he's like, what the hell are you doing in my huddle? And shoved him back. But,
That's great. I've never heard that story. That is awesome.
So then after that, all of a sudden, because, we do this stuff all the time. And everybody's like, oh, it's just a skit, but no.
That's great. Oh, yeah. Speaking of running across the floor, I remember one time though at your place, we had knocked you guys out of the playoffs the year before, and so we were there for your birthday, for Bear's birthday, and we all got introduced. And here they introduced me. I go running out of the tunnel. Boo! It was such a loud boo that it just shocked me at first.
No,
because it just erupted. It just erupted. So I just kept running straight out the other side. I'm like, where's the nearest tunnel? There it is. Just keep going. I
remember that.
Waved and just kept running out the other side.
I was laughing so hard in my suit. I looked and I even kind of, like, it was one of those moments where I even kind of flinched because it was so loud. And when you were running off the other tunnel, I swear to you, I remember just going, that was creative. It was like, because you just kept going. You didn't even hesitate.
Oh man, I had to keep just going. That was the same game that one of your fans full on just punched me right in the stomach. Yeah, I'm climbing through the stands and
they ripped your jersey.
Get out of here. Grab me, wham, right in the stomach.
Because I remember you coming in and you were livid because they had ripped your jersey and stuff a little bit.
Pissed.
I felt so bad because look, here we are. We're Utah, Mormon capital of the world. We're nice people. When it comes to sports, Utah we're a tough crowd when it comes to sports.
Yeah, you guys out there take that serious.
Yep. Well, I remember when we were doing mascot bowl one year. We were playing, and when we were playing football against those ninth graders, and we had given you the ball, and some kid had grabbed you and drove your face into the ground, and you came back to the huddle, and you're like, you could tell you were just pissed. And you're like, give me the ball. And then, you just wanted to drive right at this kid.
I swear, yeah, I remember that. Gosh,
I just loved how you were like, just give me the ball. Like, I don't care what's going to happen. This play is mine because I'm going to destroy this kid.
I was seeing red, man. That kid really just drove. I'm like, do you realize how old I am? Do you realize how much money I would lose if I got injured?
I do.
Yeah, that kid didn't care. No,
none of them do. That's why I never liked working with college kids, is because they didn't quite understand it.
Nah, you know what? I coming out of college, I thought honestly that I had the world by the tail, and get it. Yeah. Anyways, but seriously, back to having rough times, man. I got a shock when I got into the NBA. I mean, it was tough. It was tough fun coming up with skits. It was tough entertaining, being spontaneous, because college, man, all you had to do is go out and raise your hands and the crowd does the wave. You don't even have to wave. You just keep your hands up and they're going to scream for you, Man, I get into the NBA and I go out there and raise my hand. I'm like, okay, all right. I guess I got to do something else. Let me go get my unicycle. And I had so many boos. I had, I think that surprises a lot of people when I tell them that. Oh yeah, I had tons of boos. I sometimes got booed off the floor, even years into my career, and then I realized that, gosh, if you sometimes go for a boo, that's a good thing. But yeah, I've done that several times. In fact, speaking of that, I learned that one time I used my son for he was little at the time, for musical chairs, and came out there, and um, and this was one of those that I heard about it from management and everything, because they didn't know my kids at the time, things like that. So, but yeah, we did musical chairs, and one of the I get a couple kids out and everything, and then it's my son who's there, go fighting for the chair, and of course I win, and I'm like, yeah, get out of here, go on, go take yourself off, and so my son starts walking away. I just walked right up behind him and shoved him. He went down almost on his face. He almost hit his face, but he like went down, boom, boo.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, boo. Yeah, I ended up like losing the whole musical chairs thing, of course, but and the kid won. The other kid won, but afterwards, man, I heard it from management. What did you do for that kid? I mean, you took care of that kid, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Whose kid was that? Did they sign a waiver? Did their parents sign a waiver? I'm like, that was my kid. They're like, oh, thank goodness. Yeah. So
I think it's funny how people, I mean, and that's what we're shooting for, is when somebody buys into it and they fully believe, like you said, that's what we want. But at the same time, I'm always scratching my head like, how the hell do you think that was real,
right?
or that we intentionally were going to do that, because I remember doing the 1812, the da 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 da.
Yeah.
And I had cakes that I was slamming into this opposing fan's face, and and I was standing about 3 rows back and just fastballing them at him. And when they came back down to the cage, it cleaned up, because they're friends. He pulled out of his pocket 3 cards from 3 attorneys. And they're like, you can sue for that,
Yeah. Yeah. A few years ago, it was probably the last time I was able to push something this far in my career, because I literally got told after this one, hey, you have got to tone it down. We're at that point. You have, the way the world is right now, you've got to tone it down. And that was when I cut off a dude's a guy's man bun.
Oh, I got the same talk too.
Yep. I cut this guy's man bun off, and like I reached through the railing, and he's sitting, because he had poured some water on me, because I was messing with his friend. And so I snuck back up there and through the railing, reached out. He was sitting, back to the railing, and I snip his man bun, and it's like I just scalped him. Yeah, and man, he got some cards as well, some attorneys and everything. And after I did that one, another fan literally threw a beer on me. And
really?
Yeah, he got thrown out. And so it was a big mayhem thing. But yeah, it was pretty funny though, because I walked around for about the next quarter of the game with this dude's man bun, and while people took selfies with it.
You should have put little, those little bouncy squiggly eyes, glued it to it with a little lips.
Yeah.
No,
and literally everybody was like, is that real? Oh, it's real. Oh my gosh, I touched it. It's real.
I touched it. That reminds me of the time we were in Sacramento. Remember that? I think I touched it. Remember?
Oh yeah.
The little kid.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That was funny.
Dude.
That was, have we talked about that one?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That was priceless. Guy, just really in short, we're all taking pictures. We'll just touch on it real quick, just in case people forget or didn't hear that one. But we're all taking pictures before the game at birthday party. I remember it in Denver because I had to explain to my people. But you keep thinking it's in Sacramento. But I think why you think that is because Slamson was right there, and he was really involved with you. Anyways, and because he was the one, dude, freaking out. Anyways, so we're all taking pictures This little kid comes through the line. You pick the kid up by his legs, turn him upside down, and you're holding him. But his legs slide, but his pants don't. Right? So he slides down.
He's not wearing underwear.
He slides down. He's not wearing underwear. All of a sudden, I'm looking over, going, "Is that what I think it is?"
Somebody thought it was an outie belly button.
Yes. And then Slamson reaches over to cover it. He's like, "Oh my gosh! Ah! His thingy's out!" And he puts his hand up there to cover it. And then he's realizing what he's doing and how that looks. Because people are still out there taking pictures. Put him down! Put him down! Oh man, I was dying. Yeah.
So. I remember that. Now I'm trying to think of some other stories. I remember one time I was sitting at a game. This is like a whole just veering, but sitting at a game and I was in my inflatable. And I just think it's interesting how a lot of people think that it's either really padded in there or there's,
right?
They can't put their head around how this thing works. And
a lot of people think it's remote control.
Yeah, that too. But I remember his name was Lloyd, and he was this huge Samoan security guard. And I had told Luke, my assistant, I said, "Hey, go out and tell him that, he's going to punch me because I'm going to be messing with him." And I go, "Make sure he hits me in the bare nose, the nose up high." Luke's okay. So when I'm out there and I'm messing with him, I look, and it was one of those moments where I'm sitting there staring at him, and I'm like, he's not looking up here. He's looking me dead in the eyes through my little screen. Dude, he hit me so hard. Ooh. And you watch on video, his arm just sinks into the inflatable. And in the back of the inflatable, you can see my head hit the back of the inflatable. The bulge comes out. I literally come off my feet, hit the ground, and slide probably 3 feet. And I remember I kind of opened my eyes, and I'm just like, what the hell just happened? And the front of my thing is full of blood. And I feel my face, and he hit me right here in the mouth, and my lip exploded. And I remember touching it, and I'm like, I'm full of blood. And then there's that moment where you're like, whoop, and you just get up. And you just get up, and you go running off the floor like nothing happened. And I get in the back, and I drop it. There's blood all over the inside. People are looking at my lip. They had to get the doctor down. They're trying to figure out if I needed to stitch it. It was yeah. Those are the unforeseen events that why we are all beat up and bruised and hurt in our old age.
Yes. All right, I got one more. This is not hopefully this doesn't come up, as a, measuring contest here, but we're just shooting stuff back and forth. So, but speaking of a time I got punched, it was by Charles Barkley. You've heard this one.
Oh, I have.
Yeah. Where, this was way back early in he and I's relationship, but he was, obviously known as the round mound of rebound and also a brawler and inside and out of the arena. And so one time he was at the game and I was taunting him and I was like, "Hey, cross this line, come on, chicken, bark, bark, bark." He was walking on the floor, I was walking off, and so I did that a couple times, and finally another time out, he's like, "Yeah, man, come on, it's all right, come here, cool, it's cool, man, it's cool." He goes to shake my hand, and I didn't know he was left-handed, so he shakes my hand but pulls me in, boom, like as I'm being pulled into his fist, he hits me right in the face, and I'm sure he thought that it's just a soft, fluffy character, Oh my gosh, the eyes literally are hard plastic, and they've got edges. And then, so he cracks me, cuts my face. I literally get knocked out. So I wake up and the referee is leaning over me. "Get off the floor." I'm like, "Okay." So he like literally knocked me out. But anyways, I go in the back and I'm so shaken up about this. I take the head off and I remember leaning on the sink, just dripping blood out of my nose and my mouth. My eyes cut, my tooth is loose. And I'm like, what, what just happened? My lip is quivering and everything. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I went back out there and later on my stilts to see if he was actually serious. And come to find out, he wasn't quite serious. He went through my legs, punched me that time. I thought he was going to punch me right in the crotch, but anyways, but that started a whole back and forth between he and I.
You
But
started a long thing though, but it even helped with all of us. You know, your or Barkley and your kind of feud is like
Robin Lopez.
Robin Lopez and Spencer and Scott and those guys. Because
Yeah.
I remember when that happened, I remember they showed up at our arena and I went out in pads, hockey equipment, hockey pads. And I said, stop mascot abuse, you know, with Barkley, you know, because you just done that. And then I know that spun off to where, believe it or not, your team was advertising when Barkley would come in to watch the feud with you guys.
Oh, yeah.
It got big.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a chance that, there was some things I took a chance right after that happened that I was told not to. You know, don't look, just leave it. He punched you once, just leave it. But no, next game I actually had to come out and against the advice. It wasn't a flat no, but it was
just advice.
It was just a better, this better go good type of thing.
Yeah.
Whole big plan where I went out there and I set up a whole fight between he and I, and sure enough, one punch and he, you know, knocked me off my stilts, and rest is history. But you know, the interactions and stuff with Robin Lopez, like you say, that's just the next generation, and I love that he came along. And I love that there's been something that has started with him and mascots, and he's just a great guy. Love that guy.
He is, you know, and that's where I think, you know, another big shift with just the generations is back when we were performing, the referees. I mean, the things the referees would do back then when we started, and the things the players would do. I mean, unheard of. I mean, and then today everything is robotic. Can't touch the players. Can't do this. Don't go to the refs. But I remember Dick Bavetta, one of the referees. I had a fan in the crowd. His name is John Sudsbury. He's a heavy guy, and I had him in a diaper, and he looked like Cupid. And he was out, and this whole skit happens, and Dick is supposed to like come after me, and anyway. But he chased me around the floor, chased me off the court. I mean, it was like one of those things. You're like, a referee would never do that nowadays. Yeah. Another time I ran out, I dressed up as Morgana. You remember Morgana back in the days? Big chest. So I go running out, and I kiss Dick, and he tackles me and starts kissing me on the floor. And then I pick him up and I walk him off the floor. That stuff would never happen nowadays.
Never.
Ever.
Nope. I remember Dick Bavetta holding me one time while Charles and other players on the team then came out and attacked me. It was Bavetta holding my arms back, and I got like four guys, you know, pop, 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 you know. So it was great. Dick Bavetta he even went out and let me flip over him one time where
really?
I flip over the cheerleaders, the dancers and stuff, and he went and got on the end, and I'm like, no, come here, let's put you right in the middle. So I sandwiched him in between everybody so I wouldn't hurt him, but he's like, flip over me, come on.
You remember Jess Kersey way back?
Yes. Oh yes.
So his name was Al Hyam, and he was head of security, and he'd be the guy that would always bring in all the referees and stuff, and he would take care of them, go out with them at night if they came in earlier after the game, take them out drinking and stuff. But I remember Al called me, and the referees were at a bar called Green Street, and I showed up, and Jess was there, and we were just talking, and he looked at me, and I just think it was just amazing. He looked at me and he goes, you know what? Because the game was tomorrow night or the next night. And he goes, tomorrow, I want to kick your ass. And I'm like, what? And he got up and shoved tables and chairs out of the way. And we literally came up with a skit right there in Green Street that we performed the next night where he got to kick my butt, and which is a word I should have used instead of ass. But he I was just quoting. Okay, I was quoting. he kicked my butt the next night at the game, and we did the skit we planned, and it was like,
Well, that's oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's pretty surreal, actually. Tell me you have video of this.
oh, I'd have to find it. I mean, it was a long time ago. I mean, that's just like the Coyote.
Tell me, is that
and Dick Bavetta punching him and knocking him out?
Yeah, well, is that video on the internet?
No, dude, Jess Kersey, think that was 20 some years ago.
You have to get me that footage.
Tell you the truth, it's either going to be on beta or VHS, so I'm gonna have to find it.
Okay, hopefully it's on VHS.
I do too.
I'll convert it if you want me to. But
No.
hey, man, I got to wrap this up. This is
No.
great. Oh, I gotta go,
No.
man. We got to cut
No.
it off at some point. We got to want them. We got to leave them wanting more.
More. Here, okay, we each got to tell a story that we don't finish. And then we got to write them down so that we remember what we talked about. And next time we can tell them.
That's okay. Okay, that's the plan. All right, we got to leave them wanting more. Okay, so there was this one time I ran out the tunnel and I had forgotten the lower half of my costume. Okay, so I'm naked from the waist down.
Okay, that's a good spot.
Cut it right there, right?
I love that. I might know this story if I'm not mistaken. So
There's no story.
I remember when we were
No story.
performing in Bird Island, Minnesota. Do you remember the initiation that we would do
No, dude.
with everybody that was like the first time guy?
I don't think I've ever been to Bird Island. I don't think I've ever been there, man.
No, you had to have.
Nope. I don't think I ever have.
Oh, well, we would go and I would always, so some of the guys, this is actually where Zoli Berensky, he did a front flip dunk and cut the rim right here.
Oh.
And I thought he snapped his sternum. And I remember he got up and you could see him looking around and ran for an exit, which I'm totally veering off topic here. But I remember I'm always shocked at how when a mascot gets hurt, it doesn't matter how bad, but they get up and leave. You know what I mean? You think anybody else that would do that would lay there that they're hurt. But in a mascot's mind, it's nope, got to get up, get off the floor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I broke my back on a dunk one time.
Yes.
I got up and
Got up.
yeah.
It's
made
crazy.
Made it out.
So we were in Bird Island and we had an initiation for everybody that was new that came to Bird Island. And it had to do with a Snickers bar, right? And we would grab everybody, or everybody would meet down in the locker room and everybody knew what was going on and they would all grab them. And then I would go over and I'll leave it right there.
I love it. I love it. That's a great place to stop. We'll pick right up there. Next time. Brother, thank you so much.
And then remind me to tell you how Crunch's assistant freaking topped it. I never thought anybody would be able to like top it except he did. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. It was insane. It was gross, but it was insane. And I have footage of that stuff. I can actually show the footage.
Okay.
People were filming it. It's pretty funny. But I just good luck for the rest of the year and stay safe.
Yeah, man. You too. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, no, I'm sturdy like a Millie Rocket. Skin clear, still look young, Andy Miller knockers. Money in my pocket. Don't call me a money pocket. Engine get to rocket. It sound like a thunder rocket. Yeah, I still love my baby even when it's toxic. Crazy like she Britney, but no, she don't shade the noggin. Russell Wilson way I get low and stay in the pocket. I get paid and do my dance like